welcome back everyone, or welcome if it's your first time coming here. My name is Rob Pirie, and I'm going to be doing a little video today on the Ikawa Pro 50. It's going to be kind of first impressions. It's not going to be really a review just yet. So I'm going to be breaking the video up down into 5 little quick topics on the Pro 50, and then we're going to wrap it up with a little giveaway. So make sure you stick around for that, and we'll be giving away something. Or if you just want to skip there and get the giveaway, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do, you know. I probably only did about 30 to 40 batches on it. Been using it the last couple weeks, so I haven't really been using it long enough to really recommend you go and purchase it or anything. Also, I'm not sponsored by Ikawa. You know, they didn't send me this unit or anything like that, so this is just gonna be my thoughts on it. Some things that I like, some things that, you know, think could be a little better or whatever, you know, we'll just kind of discuss everything. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So the 5 topics I kind of want to cover today are, I want to go over the first impressions and the build quality of the unit. I want to go over the versatility of the unit. I also want to go over who I believe the unit is for, and then why I chose the Ikawa, and then also the Pro 50 versus the 100. Kind of want to go over that, and that'll be the basis of the video, and then we'll wrap it up with a giveaway. So let's start with the first impressions. Dealing with Ikawa was actually pretty easy. They shipped it within a few days after ordering, so I didn't have to wait that long. I will say I ordered right before, you know, the Christmas time period, so it got here between Christmas and New Year's, which was, you know, I mean, you're dealing with shipping issues at that time. At that point, I had a little bit of an issue with DHL kind of just being a little late, but you know, whatever, things happen, you know, it's not really their fault. So when I did get it, the cardboard box was beat to hell and back, you know. Luckily it comes in a pretty good sturdy Pelican case type deal, so the unit inside was, you know, everything's wrapped up in plastic, so nothing was kind of hurt and dinged up or anything like that. When you first take the Ikawa out of the box, I mean, it's actually pretty heavy. It's actually heavier than I thought it was going to be. One thing I thought was cool that, you know, right after taking it out of the box, within 5 minutes, you can pretty much be roasting with it. You plug it in, you turn it on, the lights come on. If you haven't already downloaded the app, you download the app, log in, choose whatever profile you want to use. If it's one you may have created before, if it's one in their library of profiles to use, add your coffee. As soon as the app says it's ready to roast, you spin the little device, coffee goes in, and it starts to roast. It's that simple. Like, it's one of the easiest things to operate. It's actually easier than doing a Chemex pour over. The app, it's like super clean and easy to use. It's not so many details and like data that you get lost in it, but it's enough that like if you do want to travel down that data heavy path and details and logging everything, you can. Or you can just kind of sit back and make it a little bit more easier on yourself. It's like 3 main sections. Very simple app to use. One thing I thought was cool is, you know, you can use it on your phone, or you can also use it on your MacBook, or if you have an iPad or anything like that. I don't know if the app works on like Windows laptops and stuff like that, but it definitely does on a Mac. And I did my first few roasts on the phone. The other ones have all been on my Mac, and it's, you know, worked perfect. Another thing I really liked from the unit is, I mean, the build quality of it is, I mean, it's pretty solid. You got a metal chassis that it's in, nice little glass top. You got a little stainless steel little bean holder up there at the top. Pour your coffee in. It's, like I said, it's pretty sturdy, it's pretty heavy. These canisters that it comes with, they're all double walled. Got this little bitty cork stuff on there. You know, people have some sensitive fingers, kind of keep your little fingers from getting too burned. Honestly, with the double wall, like, it never really gets that hot. So another cool thing is there's no smoke that comes from the unit. You can literally roast it right here in your, you know, office or wherever you want. I will say that it did make my smoke detectors go off the first time I used it. Actually, the first 2 times I used it. Once I opened the window and kind of put it by a window, I didn't have that issue anymore. And then also I put it on my oven, and I basically just turned the oven range, you know, the fan on, and I haven't had any issues at all. I roasted like 10 batches the other night, and no smoke detectors or anything went off. There's no smoke. I think what it is just like maybe the exhaust coming out of here or something like that. Like, you can't see it, but you can kind of smell it. It has like that odor. Doesn't really smell up the house or anything, like no different than really popping some popcorn in the little popcorn maker or something like that. It's nowhere near what the other units I've roasted inside with. Like, the Hive will actually put more smoke out than this unit here. It's actually a lot quieter than I expected. I was thinking, like, if it's running on heat and air is what's kind of roasting the coffee, I figured it was going to have to be pretty loud, but it's honestly no louder than whenever I turn the range fan on my oven. It's about the same. You can easily roast at night with it. It doesn't wake up the kids. We'll kind of dive into some other little details here in a second. But yeah, that's my first impressions of it. Next, let's roll into the versatility of the unit. I think this is where one of the things where the Ikawa Pro shines. I mean, it's super versatile. You can change the length of the roast, the heat during the roast. You can change the charge temp, the airflow. You can change whatever profile you want to use on it. You can adjust on the go. So if you're kind of thinking like, wow, I really want to extend this roast out maybe another 30 seconds, all you got to do is just pull one of the points and move it a little further out and roast another 30 seconds if you want. If you want to drop it, go ahead and drop the coffee, you know, and it'll immediately start to cool down and stuff like that. You can edit profiles, so you know there's some people on there that have profiles already saved into the library. Ikawa has a bunch. I know Rob Hoos has like 1 or 2 maybe, and a bunch of other people in the industry that kind of may have some. You can pull from theirs, and then if you want to change anything, like say you like how Rob Hoos, you know, profile works on South American coffee, and just change it to fit you. Maybe you want to extend it out a little bit, charge a little higher, whatever. You know, you can change their profile and save it to whatever you want to do. So I mean, it's just super versatile. The other cool thing is the consistency of it. Say you're roasting the same coffee twice and you want to hit exactly what you did last time. It'll literally go to 7 minutes and 3 seconds at 403, 3 degrees drop, and then your next coffee will literally follow the same line and be, you know, 7 minutes and 3 seconds and 403 drop exactly. Another thing that makes it pretty versatile is you can share with friends. So I got a few people I know with the Ikawa now, and so if they're roasting a Papua New Guinea from Coffee Bean Corral, they can easily, you know, send me a profile that they've kind of found that they like on this coffee, and I can roast it to exactly how they're roasting it. Basically, you can share the profile and you can both be cupping the exact same coffee, which I think is just phenomenal, because now I can actually cup coffee with people that ain't around my area that knows a lot more than me and expand my knowledge on it. So that's something that I'm going to be doing a lot more of, I feel, in the future with it, is basically doing some cuppings with people that are a lot better than me, that I can kind of talk through what I'm tasting. And we'll kind of get into like the educational side of it in a little bit, but yeah, I think that's one of the versatile things of it too. It's not just for sample roasting and stuff like that. It's great for education. As you can see, it's small, it's compact. I mean, you can fit it on a shelf. It fits on my oven top very easily, with still enough room to pour coffee in and stuff like that. Easy to move around. Comes in a nice Pelican case with a handle and roller wheels and stuff like that. So if you are taking it to Origin or anything like that, or if you're taking it to some other roaster or anything like that, it's easily able to pack up. It's all foamed up and stuff like that, so you're not gonna, even if it does get dropped or anything like that, or you know, banged around, should protect it pretty well. Next, I want to roll into kind of who I believe it's for. I believe the Ikawa can be for kind of 2 main groups. One, obviously, you know, it can be for sample roasting and like picking coffee and going down to Origin and stuff like that. But I think a market that may be gaining steam as we travel down this specialty coffee avenue is anybody that's wanting to dive deep down the rabbit hole of coffee roasting and stuff like that. There's a lot of data that comes with this machine, and there's a ton of information that you can pull from it. So if you're wanting to dive deep into blogs and stuff like that, I think this is a great unit to really dive into the stuff like that. For the main purpose, yeah, I mean, it will allow roasters to experiment with different types of coffee with very small sample sizes. You know, so if you get 200-gram sample size from roaster, it's allowing you to experiment with that coffee 4 different ways versus what you may only would have been able to do, you know, just one time before. It's obviously going to be good for, you know, anybody who works as an importer or anything like that that's traveling to coffee origins and you want to taste the coffee there on site, you know, move around different farms. It's super simple to set up. As long as you have power wherever you're going to be going, I mean, that would be the only hold up. And like I said, I don't think it's limited to just professionals. I think if there's people out there with the means and that just wants to learn a lot more about coffee, I mean, it's not a cheap unit. You know, if you have the means and you can just, you know, go out and buy a unit like this because you want to learn more about coffee, I mean, more power to you. It's an amazing unit to learn on. If I'd have had the money in the very beginning and I'd have been this dedicated to it, I would have loved to have started with this, because I think where I'd be at in my coffee journey would be a lot further in where I would be at tasting and knowledge base on different types of coffee. So with that being said, now I kind of want to give you a reason why I chose the Ikawa. First reason why I chose it is I just want to test a shit ton of coffee. I want to literally be roasting every 2 days and cupping every day. I bought a ton of coffee from Coffee Bean Corral. I've had Showroom Coffee send me a bunch of coffee. I've had some farmers send me some coffee. And it's just one of those things, like, this unit for me, during this period from now until the roaster is built, I want to take this time to really just dive in and push my coffee knowledge and tasting and everything as much as I can. It's going to allow me to cup many different coffees, many different varieties, many different coffees roasted different ways, you know, so I can roast a Yemen light, medium dark, and just see kind of what I like across the board. Really just experiment, practice, and repeat. 2, I needed something that was kind of convenient, you know, something that was kind of, I could set up quick, you know, the kids are going to sleep, they're in bed, pop it out real quick, throw it up on the oven, have my computer and everything lined up on the island, and I just go through it, you know. I'm weighing out the coffee, going through, getting it all set up, and within, you know, a good 30-40 minutes, I can have a few batches roasted up for the next day. And it roasts pretty fast. I mean, you know, you can do a roast from 4 minutes to 7 minutes or something like that and be dropping them out. The speed of it and everything like that, you know, moving these canisters, putting the other canister in, you're letting the dumping chafe, letting coffee flow over. It's really quick. And then 3, there's been farmers that's been sending me coffee and stuff like that, and I really hadn't had a way to roast like 100 grams of coffee. I want to give them some good data and stuff whenever, you know, I reply to them. The ones that have been on my podcast. Like Mo, his real name's Mauricio. He sent me a couple packs of coffee. One has a carbonic maceration process, and yeah, super good. So I was able to do this in the Ikawa. It's super cool to be able to roast his coffee and then go and basically talk to him and do a podcast, you know, and talk about the coffee, let him know what I think of it and stuff like that. These new processes they got going on, it's just crazy. I mean, it's winey, it's fruity, it's crazy. Also, I was speaking to the Loring people and they said you could possibly get the Ikawa profile and transfer it up to a Loring, but then I was speaking to people with a Loring and they said, yeah, I don't know if you can really do that. For me, it's knowing that like what I can pull out of that coffee. What does the coffee have the potential? And if it does, I know I can find that based off of like the data from this machine. And then I can kind of back into it from a larger machine. With that being said, last thing I want to go into is the Pro 50 versus the Pro 100, and then kind of why I chose the 50. The Pro 50 can do 50 grams and the Pro 100 can do 100 grams. The only big issue for me was the Pro 100 was about $1,000+ more. And you're only getting 50 grams. It's really the only change. And for me at the time, I was just, I couldn't see spending an extra $1,000+ for just 50 grams. But after roasting over the past few weeks, I realized like the 50 is plenty big enough for me. I feel the 50 is big enough for anybody wanting to just, you know, kind of start a coffee roaster and stuff like that. If you're a large coffee roaster and you have like multiple facilities and people tasting and stuff like that, then yeah, you may want to have the Pro 100 because, you know, if you're cupping coffee and you got like 15 people cupping coffee with you or something, like the Pro 100 is probably more feasible for you. But anybody kind of just starting out with the coffee roaster, the 50 is fine. It gives you enough for 2 good cuppings and a pour over, or just 4 straight cuppings. And to me, that's plenty. It's enough to give you a few days between each or a week between each if you want, and then do a good pour over, kind of see what it's like on that side. With that being said, I'll go ahead and wrap it up and then we'll go into the giveaway. So I think this unit is going to be perfect for what I need. I think it's made for people that are serious about coffee and that have plans to make coffee a business, or to really just dive deep into the education side of coffee, especially if you have the means to do that. I think if you're going the business route, you have to make the decision, how is this asset going to add to your bottom line or give you the knowledge that you may need as a baseline to get where you need to get? So from a business standpoint, does it make sense for you, where you're at with your budget and stuff like that? Again, like I said, I haven't used it long enough really, I feel, to recommend whether you should purchase one or not. So I definitely will not be doing that in this video. These are just kind of my thoughts on it as of right now. So now for the giveaway. I'm going to be giving away some coffee from this unit. It's going to be 50 grams of coffee. I'm going to pick 5 comments from the comment section. And basically I'm going to be sending out 50 grams. Basically it's one batch of this Yemen from Coffee Bean Corral. It's a Yemen Mokahami. If you don't know how to say things, you just say it very confidently, and you know, most people don't ask. Yeah, I'm going to be sending out to 5 people in the comment section below that comment Coffee Bean Corral. If you comment Coffee Bean Corral, I'll go pick 5 people down there that comment that, and I'll send you a batch of Yemen Mokahami. I'll probably let it go for about 2 weeks, and then I'll reach out to you, kind of let some people, you know, get in there, and I'll go in there and I'll figure out something. I'll give it to you. Again, guys, thanks for watching. I got more videos kind of planned with the Ikawa. I want to do a full roast review on it and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it's going to be super cool. Got some cool things planned up. Maybe dive into some of the settings and stuff like that. And then, yeah, so if you want to see any of that, please subscribe, do all that, and yeah, I'll see y'all Friday. We'll be talking about loorings and drop shipping. Cool dude. That's it, guys. That's it for me. Love y'all. See you. You were drinking wine and you were speaking Portuguese. I was making lots of noise, busking on the city streets. I came back from Brooklyn, but you didn't come back for me.